Right then, fan reaction time. Burnley 4, Luton Town 0. And I know I've already said it on the 60-second review, but I just want to reiterate that's 10 goals that Burnley have scored in their last three, nearly miscounted then, in their last three championship matches. That's obviously 4 today, 4 against Sheffield Wednesday at Turf Moor, and 2 against Cardiff. And it's not even about me having a dig, because I do agree Scott Parker is too cautious sometimes, but I feel like maybe, just maybe, now we're getting into the business end of the season, the handbrake has been eased off slightly. I still do sometimes feel like we are a little bit cautious and the build-up play is still a little bit slow, but when you're winning 4-0, who really cares if the build-up play is slow? Obviously, I think the build-up play is slow, with the intention of keeping the ball rather than being fast-paced and obviously having more chance to lose the ball. I think Parker, as I've said, is quite cautious in that sense, but absolutely nothing wrong with that performance today. We were superb, and for the first time ever, mind you, I'll be honest, I've muted a few accounts in the last few weeks, but for the first time ever, I've logged onto Twitter and I haven't seen one person mourning. Not one person mourning. Having said that, I need to try and give a balanced view of the match, so please don't take this as me mourning. However, the only thing I will say is that when we were 3-0 up, look, I understand why Parker has made the changes he's made. The game's done. We've won. We've got to think about West Brom on Tuesday. Completely get it. I mean, not 1 minute going to complain about him taking Edwards and Brownell off. And he took Foster off as well, didn't he? Towards the end. Again, I'm not going to complain about that. I just felt like when them changes were made, Luton got back into the game a little bit. And again, we probably took our foot off the gas, to be fair. But again, not complaining. I feel like we were completely the dominant side, except for around 10 minutes after we made them changes. I've noticed on Twitter and in the Luton Town's manager, what's he called, Matt Bloomfield, in his post-match interview, he's having a bit of a whinge and basically said it was never a red card. It was, the first goal, or was it the second goal, there was a handball in the build-up. Admittedly, I've just very quickly watched the EFL highlights that aren't even 2 minutes long, so I fully respect that I've not been able to see great angles of the incidents, but genuinely, that second yellow card is 100%, 110% a second yellow. I think the Luton fans' problems, and if any Luton fans do watch this, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, is that the first one shouldn't have been a yellow. I haven't had a chance to see that one back yet. I saw it at the time, and I do remember thinking, like, he's giving a card out a bit early here. And one thing I will say about that ref is he was very card happy. I think, 3 of our players got booked, 2 off the top of my head, Cullen and Perez, so it might just have been the 2. But I do feel like he was quite card happy. He did like a card, so maybe the first one was soft. I've not had a chance to see it back, unfortunately. But that second yellow, what is he doing? What is the Luton player doing there? He goes through the back of Brownell. Not through the back, that's excessive, to be fair. But it goes to ground behind Brownell as Brownell's receiving the ball. Brownell's too quick for him. He moves away and he brings him down. It's 100% a second yellow. You should have an issue with your player being stupid in that scenario and going to ground behind Brownell like that and giving the referee a decision to make when it's already on a yellow card. No complaints from me if that were Burnley. I think the referee's got that one spot on. It was a second yellow card. The second goal as well, I think they had an issue with... I think the first goal they had I can't remember, again, apologies, I'm only just going off what I've seen on Twitter, but I think they said there was a build-up a handball in the build-up to the first. Haven't seen that, if that is the case. Again, I have only just quickly watched a highlights session back now. Obviously I was at the match, but these goals were at the other side. And I never saw a handball at the time. I didn't even see any Luton players or fans appeal for it. And this isn't a dig. It's going to sound like a dig, but to be fair, there wasn't many Luton fans there, so I wouldn't have heard it. But yeah, never saw anything of that. The second goal, they're arguing that their player has the ball. He tries to avoid the referee, and then Josh Brownhill tackles him. It's just a superb tackle from Josh. It genuinely is. It's a superb tackle from Josh. I thought Josh was superb today. You could half have a moan about that, but I just feel like your player. Oh, I'm talking like I'm talking to Luton fans here. I just feel like the Luton lad there in that scenario should just run into the ref, kick the ball at the ref, use your brain. Everybody knows if the ball hits the referee, it's an indirect free kick to the team that had possession. They're the rules, right? If that player was smarter, it'd have just ran into the ref, and the ref would have blown, yeah, sorry, my bad. But he doesn't. He dallies. The ref then moves out of the way. Josh Brownhill makes a superb tackle, and then Burnley go and score from it. The one goal and the one decision, should I say, that I look at it and I think, yeah, fair play. I think Luton have got a bit of a case here. Is that Marcus Edwards one? But not the Marcus Edwards goal. Who scores the actual goal itself? Brownhill. Marcus Edwards comes in from the right hand side, cuts in, and I am adamant he runs it out. I'm adamant he runs it out of play. I thought at the time it was out. Some Burnley fans are saying on Twitter, oh, the whole ball has to be over the line, and the whole ball isn't over the line. There's only a bit of it that's over. I know what the rules are. And what I will say is, it's inconclusive. I do feel like he does run it out, but the evidence I've seen is inconclusive. Just because when I watched it, I sit in the stand behind the goals where that one was, right? And I thought at the time it ran it out of play. I genuinely did. The highlights I've seen back, that they look close, but again, it's the angles. You can't tell for definite that it is 100% over. But I feel like it probably is. I feel like it probably is. I feel that goal Luton can feel hard done to be fair. But what I will say is, the game was done then. The game really was done. And that fourth goal, yeah, just great work from Loren, to be fair, who I thought, didn't really do too much when he came on up until that. But yeah, he did really well then. It was Loren, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. And to be fair, that's what I like about Loren. In them scenarios, he battles and he gets his body in front, and you ain't pushing Loren off the ball. You're just not going to do it. He's so strong. And then obviously he gets in front of the defender, puts it across, and it happens again to Thomas Kaminski. He concedes a goal to Ashley Barnes at the Jimmy Mack stand. Yeah, I think the main takeaway from that is I feel like is clicking excessive at this stage. Without the red card and the own goal, it potentially could be different, but I don't know. I feel like these are the sort of games that we win 1-0. This time 6 months ago, but now we're winning 4-0. And I just feel like we're scoring more now. The proof's in the pudding, as I've already said. 10 goals in our last 3 Championship League games. I nearly lost count again. And yeah, Lyle Foster on the score sheets. Because I'm thinking about my next sentence, which I was going to say. Lyle Bagsman Foster, he is back. And I know I'm contradicting myself, because in the last 2-3 weeks, I've actually run out of patience with Lyle. But before that, I was always saying, get Lyle in the 9. Get Lyle in the 9. Fleming or Brownhill in the 10. Obviously, it was Brownhill today. I know it's not a traditional 10. But in that more advanced role, and he was superb. You could argue that Lyle could be man of the match. I'll leave that debate for the full-time show. But he was superb today. Gets his goal, and that position now needs to be his. The problem is, he has put in some stinkers. He was awful at Preston. And he's come on a couple of times and not played very well. Did play well against Sheffield Wednesday, to be fair, in the 9. But I feel like now that position has to be his. Brownhill, Lyle, Brownhill / Fleming rotating. Maybe try Fleming in the more advanced midfield position in the 10 on Tuesday. Give Josh a bit of a rest, but Josh is probably one of our more important players, to be fair, and West Brom are a good side, so actually I'm going to immediately say no. Brownhill, Lyle, Fleming on the bench, Edwards and Anthony, both superb again today. I thought the entire front line was superb, but let me change that. I thought everybody was superb. Lucas Perez likes to get some pelters off some fans, but there was one moment where he lost possession and stuff, and he did get booked for it, but I thought he had a good game. I honestly thought he had a good game. There were a chance where he probably could have done a bit better with. But I thought Lucas played well, and hopefully that gets a few fans off his back. I know may have a few throwaway remarks in pre-game shows and stuff, but it's all tongue in cheek. I do feel like, you know, we need to get behind him because Humphries is out for this season, 8 weeks, whatever. So yeah, I thought he had an alright game apart from that one bit where he got booked because he lost possession. But yeah, Burnley win 4-0. Blackburn lose 2-1 in their second cup final of the season. Preston couldn't do us a favour, but you expect that from the most tin pot club in Lancashire, right? They were never going to win at Sheffield United. To be fair, they ran them close. But yeah, Barnes back on the score sheet, Foster back on the score sheet. We're looking up. As it stands, 2 points off top. Leeds play tomorrow. Play up Pompey, up the Clarets.